Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading from the r/JUSTNOMIL subreddit, so let's jump into it. Mom announces she's taking my kid on a month-long vacation. I had my first baby a couple of months ago. My mom seems a little awkward handling a newborn, but has otherwise been decent. No just no behavior yet. Today, I feel like that changed. My parents were over for a few hours to visit with me and the baby. My mom starts talking about how much she's looking forward to doing things with my daughter after she and my dad retire in about 7 years. The conversation started out fine, with my mom saying things like they could watch my daughter after school, or go to the zoo, or take a day trip to the beach. Simple things like that. Then my mom says my daughter can go on vacations with them. Like, only them, without me, and my husband. This wasn't something I was exactly on board with, but I didn't say anything. I didn't think it was worth my time to argue about an unplanned vacation that would theoretically take place 7 years from now. I just kind of smiled and let the conversation move on. But then my mom wouldn't drop the vacation thing. She brought it back up saying, "We never took you on any trips. I think we're going to be really different with our grandkids." To which I said, "There's still time to travel together. Maybe we can all plan a trip together when the baby is older." And then my mom said, "No, you'll be working. We want to go to Europe for a month. What are you gonna do? Take a whole month off?" That comment ticked me off, and I responded, "Okay, well, you're not going to take a 7-year-old to Europe for a month. Not without her parents." And then my mom got this weird, kind of smug smile on her face and said, "Oh my god, look at OP. She's getting jealous of the baby. I told you that you wouldn't be top priority after the grandkids came." Then I said, "Well, yeah, I kind of am jealous. Of course I would like to go to Europe for a month. But more importantly, I would want to be there with my kid. That's a really big experience." And then my mom goes, "You can just wait until you're a grandparent, and you can experience it then." This is when I ended the conversation, saying it was pointless to talk about something so far into the future. But I felt so gross about the conversation. It felt like my mom was purposely trying to get a rise out of me, like she was enjoying pushing my buttons. And I also thought it was extremely presumptuous to assume she could take my kid on a month-long trip. And even worse, she basically said I wasn't invited. A month-long trip with a 7-year-old girl in Europe with a woman that seems to give zero shits? Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? I am horrified they would even humor this idea. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but I feel like I'm even more horrified about the conversation than OP is. But regardless, next time OP, if your mom acts this way again, just say no and change the conversation. No is an answer. Full stop. Clairvoyant JUSTNOMIL. Backstory: I've been married for 4 years. My husband is amazing. We have a great relationship. My mother-in-law is extremely toxic, and we have distanced ourselves from her almost completely at the time of this story. My own mom passed away in 2015. I have been in counseling for this as well as some other things, so I'm pretty resilient. But, story. My great aunt recently passed away. My mail called me after attending the funeral and asked me to put her on speakerphone in front of SO because she had something important to tell both of us. She told us that while she was meditating one day, my aunt came to her. My deceased aunt apparently told JUSTNOMIL to tell me that she was upset at the pictures shown during the slideshow. Apparently, my deceased aunt said she didn't want the pictures of her in a mobility scooter while on vacation to be shown. Well, it was 5 days after the funeral. The pictures have already been shown on the slideshow. SO told Mill politely that aunt probably wouldn't mind the pictures in the slideshow because it showed her seeing the world with her family. And if anything, she would be more upset if we all gathered just to make a big fuss about her. Mill had only met this aunt twice. For my aunt to demand certain pictures not to be shown would have been completely out of character for her. Also, even if it were true, which it's not, I'm not sure what my aunt wanted her family to do about it at this point. The pictures had already been shown. I don't believe any of this, but I want to respect Mil's beliefs as much as possible. I tell Mil exactly that and say thank you for sharing. I try to grey rock her as much as possible, but then it gets worse. The conversation then turns to something that made my stomach almost drop out of my butt. She asks me if my mom's name was Sherry. It's not. And she already knows what my mom's name is, which just so happens to rhyme with Sherry. Because of this, I knew immediately she was playing a game. I correct her with the correct name, and she goes on to say that my mom visited her also. Apparently, my mom told her that I was never alone in my time of grief with my aunt. I was extremely uncomfortable and just told her thank you and walked out of the room, leaving SO to say goodbye and hang up. I assume she was telling me this to manipulate me in some way emotionally. What good does it do to tell me this right after the funeral? She definitely has ulterior motives. I have not spoken to her since. I guess when you piss off and annoy every living person, you have to resort to talking to the dead. OP, have a talk with your husband about enforcing some boundaries with Mil before this gets out of hand, because I have a feeling this whole sixth sense thing to feel special is just the beginning. Shut it down ASAP. Small, funny story. So my Mil is a handful, and I'm working on establishing boundaries. She hasn't liked me from the beginning because I'm 11 years older than her son, divorced, and already have 3 kids. Anyways, she does not hold back and says or asks whatever is on her mind. She's been to our house once. Reason being, it is too small, and we do not have space to accommodate visitors. No extra seating and whatnot. When she was here, we gave her the tour, albeit small. Fast forward a few months, and we are at their house hanging out. My SO is busy talking to his dad, so I'm stuck talking to his mom. Various conversation topics, nothing major. I forget how the conversation shifted to this, but she ended up asking me why we do not have a bed frame and why our mattress is on the floor. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "We broke it," with a huge smile on my face. She just kind of looked at me, taken aback. I just nodded and added, "Yes." From that, needless to say, the conversation shifted into a different direction. It still makes me laugh to think back on it. OP, you are my hero. Oversharing to make people uncomfortable is the best revenge, especially when it involves a nasty Mil. But anyways, that is all for me today. I hope you enjoyed those 3 Just No Mail stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!